And we are back on Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Wyche NFL, and I am now joined by Steve Wyche of the NFL Network. Steve, thanks so much for joining me tonight, man. How's it going?
Hey, man, all is good. Staying busy, but all is good. As you know, it's the NFL season has been ripe with news and controversy, and we're right in the thick of it, man.
All right, Steve, we're entering the fourth week of the NFL regular season, but before we talk a bit about that, I want to talk about the Monday night football game that was played a few days ago as the Green Bay Packers took on the Seattle Seahawks. Before the game started, what did you think the outcome of this game would be?
Well, before it started, I thought the Packers would win a tough one. The backs were against the wall. I thought their offense would put in some points, but not many. Seattle's defense is one of the most underrated defenses in the NFL. They might have the best secondary in the NFL. And kind of how things played out was kind of how I expect them to play out. Them maybe winning a 12-7, 14-10 game. And, of course, the last play, the Hail Mary, kind of changed the outcome. But I think the game itself played out a lot like I expected.
Yeah, 8 sacks in the first half for Aaron Rodgers. That was tough. As we know, the Seahawks went on to win that game. In the last second, as you said, rookie quarterback Russell Wilson heaves a pass about 40-45 yards, and both M.D. Jennings and Golden Tate of the Seahawks come down with the ball. One official says it's a touchdown. The other official is waving his hands like it's a touchback or an interception for the Packers. What do you think about that whole situation that took place that night?
Well, first off, I think a lot of the attention is being paid to it because these are replacement officials. But because it was such a bang-bang type play, I could see regular officials making the same type of call. But I don't think they would have been criticized as much. I do think there'd be controversy, but I think the NFL has set itself up for the criticism because of the replacement officials. I frankly, when I saw it in real time, I thought it was the simultaneous catch, which of course goes to the offensive player, but then once I saw the replay, you could see otherwise. And of course, the controversy has stemmed from it, but the Chiefs can't dwell on it now. You just have to really hope, if you're a Packers fan, if you're the Packers, that this doesn't come back to cost you a playoff berth. Because remember, these are two NFC teams, and a lot of times tiebreakers come down to conference records and head-to-head. And this is something that could come back to haunt Green Bay. They just got to win as many games as possible so they don't have that situation play out.
All right, Steve, and we're talking about Green Bay. Let's talk about another team in the NFC North, and that is the Chicago Bears. What are your thoughts on the Bears early in this season?
Well, I thought they'd be one of the best teams in the NFL. I don't think offensively they look that way, though. The offensive line seems to still have issues. Jay Cutler just really hasn't played well. And part of that's because Matt Forte's been nicked up, and we see Cutler playing well when Forte's in there. But they've got to get that offensive line together. We've got defense. Tim Jennings, the cornerback, has been arguably one of the best defensive players in the NFL. I think by the end of the season, Chicago will be better. They'll be in the hunt for the NFC North. I still like the Packers in that division. I think they'll bounce back. But Green Bay, Chicago, as long as they stay healthy, should be in the mix when all is said and done.
All right, Steven, I got to ask you, what were your thoughts about the whole Jay Cutler, Jamarcus Webb situation where Jay Cutler yells and gives Jamarcus Webb this little shove? What were your thoughts on that?
Quarterbacks yell their offensive linemen and running backs and stuff all the time. If they're not doing their job, they get yelled at. We just don't necessarily see it on TV. Tom Brady yells at guys, Matt Ryan yells at guys, Philip Rivers yells at guys. However, I think just because Jay Cutler has got this kind of negative persona, this bad body language, it comes off worse. And that shove, that's not a good thing. But Jamarcus Webb or a teammate's going to handle it right then and there by basically saying, don't do it. It happened. I don't think I was necessarily as disturbed by it as other people, just knowing what goes on an NFL sideline. The Bears seem to have moved on from it. Jamarcus Webb, don't let your guy get hit as much, and maybe he won't treat you like that.
Right, and this Monday night, the Chicago Bears will be making a trip to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Both teams have had high expectations on the season throughout the first 3 games, though. They really haven't played great or as expected. What are a few things we should look for this Monday night football game?
Well, both teams' offensive lines have not played well. Dallas, Tony Romo's going to get killed if they don't tighten things up. But I think you need to look this. Dallas can get his wrong. Murray gets running the ball, gets your pressure off the offensive line. I'm looking to see where Des Bryant's going to be. He hasn't really shown up as much as I think the Dallas expected. Chicago secondary playing very well. Of course, as I mentioned, Tim Jennings already. For the Bears, I believe that game is in Dallas. For the Bears, Cutler's got to go ahead and play well. He's going to face a significant challenge with Dallas' defense. I mean, cornerbacks Brandon Carr and Mo Claiborne have been fantastic. Mike Jenkins has played well. And, they're going to get after him. That is about as athletic of a defense as you're going to see, especially with those inside linebackers they have in Dallas. The Cutler's going to have to get rid of the ball quickly, and guys like Brandon Marshall are going to have to catch the ball and make plays after the catch to move the chains a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. I agree. And one last question for you, Steve, and that is, early in this season, which team, good or bad, has shocked you so far?
Oh, the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, nobody expected them to be undefeated. They looked awful in the preseason. Their offensive line looked terrible. You didn't know what their quarterback situation was going to be. And look, they've beaten 3 tough teams. They've beaten Seattle, New England, Philadelphia. So, yeah, by far, I think that's the biggest surprise of the NFL, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm a huge fan of their defense. I love their secondary. Steve, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight, man. Before I let you go, please plug anything you would like to for our fans, for our listeners on the air right now, man.
Man, make sure you watch NFL AM every morning on from 6 to 10 Eastern Time. We actually replay it. It's on from 6 to 2 Eastern Time and all the corresponding time zones. And like you, follow me on Twitter at Wyche89. We do our thing on there. We have fun. I break news. I crack back on people who get wise with me. And I try to keep it entertaining.
Hey, Steve, thanks so much again, man. And hopefully we can have you on in the future.
Anytime, man. You take care.
All right, you too.